G'day. This is just an announcement about the upcoming live Zoom. So that's for the 16th of October at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So that's when the live Zoom will be. Now, the way it's actually going to be announced and the link to the actual Zoom session will be about an hour before, so about 8 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time, so an hour before. So there'll be an announcement. It will only be available to subscribers. So anybody that's not a subscriber will not be able to see it and will not be able to view the announcement or get the link. So it's basically I'm limiting it to subscribers only. And so if you're not a subscriber, you won't be able to join. If you are, you will be able to join because you'll be able to see the video to get the link. So it'll be subscribers only. Now, there's a few rules that's going to be involved. So the rules are be respectful to everyone. I've got zero tolerance towards people being discriminatory or, cursing other people or swearing. If you've got a different opinion, just express it in a very calm, way. All of us are willing to listen to different people's opinions. It's not a session to get polemics. It's more to, sort of meet up, have a chat, say hello to each other, maybe ask some questions. Sometimes it's easier to it's harder to basically express oneself in a written form. It's much easier to express something verbally. So it gives you an opportunity to interact with me in a more one-on-one or multiple. There's going to be other people there. They may hear the question as well. They may have an opinion about that sort of stuff, or may have heard some stuff. So that may generate a conversation. So it's really going to be a conversation amongst us, pretty much. So it's, I just want it to be a lighthearted conversation. We can discuss anything, any aspect, any controversial stuff, anything goes sort of thing. So I'm not going to limit it to anything in particular. Probably the most things are going to gravitate around dietary and health aspects. But, me, I've got interest in politics. I've got interest in environmental stuff. I've got interest in, food politics and all sorts of things. So it's not as if I'm going to be limiting myself, and I don't expect you guys to limit yourselves just to, to carnivory or whatever else. Obviously, there's a mixed bag of people, so we need to be respectful. There are people that subscribe to me that are not carnivores. They're low carb of different varieties, and and there are people that even people that, like recently in one of my live chats, there was somebody who's plant-based, who's trying to transition towards food, animal foods, and tried to help him out, give him a bit of advice, a few pointers. It can be hard. I mean, I've never been myself plant-based or vegan or vegetarian or whatever. So emotionally, or I just can't relate. If you haven't been vegan or vegetarian, you can't relate with the sort of emotional sort of things. But I sort of take it back to like my faith, religion and stuff like that. And how would I feel if because a belief system, how would I feel assault on my belief system? Or if I'm leaving that belief system, how difficult would it be, that transition? So I'm sympathetic to those things, because in the past, I gravitated away from faith for a period of time, and then I came back, and these transitions weren't easy, and it was, there was a lot of emotional sort of turmoil within my own heart about a number of aspects. I had, a lot of conversation with myself trying to reconcile all sorts of things. So it's difficult, let's put it that way. As humans, when we're really welded to something, it can be a quite emotional affair, transitioning away in that regard. So I'm sympathetic in that regard. And if those people subscribe to me and they want to come along and, interact and chat about these sort of things, not a problem. I just hope that they're respectful and they're willing to listen and to hear some of the aspects that we talk about, maybe learn something, maybe at the same time challenge us as well on some aspects where we will learn something, or we will basically start thinking a bit deeper about a few conversation aspects, things that we haven't heard before, or stuff like that, in particular in my case as well. So, I hope people turn up. The more the merrier. We'll make it for an interesting sort of get together. So we'll see how it goes, how it plays out. It'll go for about 3 hours, and I suspect there'll be people that will come and go within those 3 hours. So they'll come in, they'll leave. They won't stay for very long. Others, they just may want to just pop in to see what's happening. So all are welcomed. Nothing's, since it's a private session and the YouTubia mafia are not monitoring us, it's pretty easy to discuss all sorts of aspects, and it makes it easier. It also makes it easier for me to go into greater depths on some of these, in some of these areas that are quite controversial, because currently it's a bit difficult. I sort of have to go scant around the edges, sort of say things, but half say them in a sense in some cases without, the fear of losing my channel, because that's what it's getting to, unfortunately. It's really getting nasty out there with YouTube censorship. Google is literally, they're on a warpath to basically eliminate all opposition to their misanthropy and, their way of viewing the world. So it's, I think that these sort of aspects where we can build a bit of a community, we can interact with each other, we can have conversations about all sorts of different aspects of life and controversial aspects, plus discuss some issues that may be concerning each and every one of us. So, as I said, anything goes. The only thing that I do ask people is just to be respectful of others. If you've got an opinion, express it freely. I'm not going to basically prevent anybody from expressing their opinion. It's just the way they express it. It shouldn't be abusive. It shouldn't be basically, in a nasty way. All views are welcome. But the only thing that I do have a zero tolerance for, I'll be quite clear of that, is sort of discriminatory aspects. And I'm not talking about woke aspects. I'm talking about things like real discrimination, like racial or things of that sort. That I will not tolerate that sort of stuff. But anything else, not a problem. My opinion about the sexes and how many aspects of orientation there are. So yeah, it's all that and the, what is it called, yeah, that looked rude. So basically, yeah, it'll be a friendly get together. That's what I want it to be. And then hopefully, we can build on that. And I haven't actually made up my mind whether I'm going to do any future ones. I'll see how this goes. Whether I do some other sort of thing for members, at some point, like a monthly thing. I haven't decided really. I'm thinking about it. I just haven't made up my mind. That, so I do just want to have this session, see how it goes, and then consider future options is the main thing. So I hope you turn up and come and join and have a bit of fun together, a bit, lighthearted sort of get together, which is what I want it to be. And we will be cutting it off after, usually, and I expect if Blinkers turns up, I expect him to hold me to the 3 hours, because, we will have the next morning sessions, the live sessions on Sunday the following day. So I've got to get up for that. So it can't drag for too long. So Blinkers, turn up, and you're responsible for me. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Anyway, see you guys.